Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny and welcome to this week's nursery tour. We're going to do it a little early in the week this week because, in case you don't remember, next Sunday, May 8th, is Mother's Day. So we wanted to get out here early in the week, show you what is available here at the nursery because we have lots of great Mother's Day gift options for you. So if you are kind of scrambling or you're unsure about what to get that special lady in your life for Mother's Day, we have got quite a few options for you here at Creekside Nursery. Remember, we are North Carolina, Zone 7B. We are in Dallas, North Carolina, which is just west of Charlotte. And yeah, so we've got lots of fun things to show you. We got in a shipment of aquapots. I guess that was probably maybe 2 weeks ago now, and aquapots are those great self-watering containers. So this really takes a lot of the daily maintenance out of gardening. They are fantastic. So essentially halfway up of the pot will be filled with water and the upper half is filled with soil. It has a great little contraption in here. So everything above the soil disc is soil. Everything below it will be water, and inside is where you stuff the soil, and it has little slits so the soil inside the tube comes into contact with water on the outside, and it has this great wicking action. So these definitely make wonderful Mother's Day gifts. This quilted pattern is new for us. We were able to get these kind of as a special palette. So we have the small vases, and this is the quilted, so it's a white one, but not only do you get the aqua pot, but go ahead and purchase a gorgeous hanging basket of your choice. What we recommend is to disassemble this hanging basket and actually plant it in here, and there you go. Plant the hanging basket in the aqua pot. Give this to the lady in your life and tell her happy Mother's Day. Thank you for everything that you do. And man, she has an instant gorgeous container that will last her from now all the way through a hard freeze. Really, really nice. Simple, right? Keep it simple, sweetie. That's what we're doing here. So we have got aquapots in all sorts of colors. The new ones are, of course, this quilted pattern. We also have some of the small ones in a chevron pattern. So white chevron, they're just turned upside down. Where that was the vase, this is what we call the flat rim. A little shorter, a little wider. Capacity wise though, they're very similar. It's just a different shape. And then, of course, we've got the volcanic on milky blue. It's a really popular color, and you'll notice that we do have them turned upside down because they are self-watering containers. There's no hole in the bottom. So if we had these upright, they could be halfway filled with water. And we don't want to do that right now because that would be kind of yuck. Then we have the Techno White that has the stripes, more of the quilted, and then we have a good selection of the antique white lily leaf, something like that, lily leaf and antique white, something like that. We do have, I think, just one large flat rimmed left, but we've got in that shipment, we also got a bunch of the small flat rims. Again, this would be a great thing to pick out your hanging basket, put it in there, and there you go. These are really pretty, very classic colors, very neutral as far as coloring goes. So this would go with really any kind of color house, any kind of situation. And then of course we do have, if you don't want to do an aqua pot, we have the traditional containers. Now, you'll look at these and go, well, that looks just like the aqua pot. So Michael Carr is the artist who creates, this is his whole line of ceramic glazed pottery. And what he will do is take a traditional pot just like this and turn it into an aqua pot. It's when it's manufactured, they don't put the drain hole in the bottom and then they put the rim around it. So we have this in both a traditional container and an aqua pot. Same thing with the quilted diamond pattern. This is just a traditional, you know it's traditional because it has a hole in the bottom. versus an aquapot. So we have them in lots of options for you. So again, if you're unsure of what to get the lady in your life, come get an aquapot, come get a hanging basket, boom, pop it in there. And we'll show you some of the other hanging baskets that we have available. We also have, we didn't plan on doing this, but we'll go in here anyway, the wind chimes that are unique to Creekside Nursery. So let me turn on a light here for you. We partner with Bottle Benders, a great family company in Georgia, to have them create these one-of-a-kind wind chimes that are unique to Creekside Nursery, because we actually send them these pine knots. So this is a piece of a pine tree, right, that is filled with the sap and the resin. So it's really kind of like a petrified situation. They're not gonna rot, they're not gonna fall apart. We send them these pine knots, and then they clean them up, and then they hang their beautiful chimes on them. These are recycled glass bottles that they slice, put in a kiln, melt down, and then hang them. So these are beautiful. They come in all sorts of colors. Each one is unique because of all the pine knots are very different, and each one is unique and special in its own right. So we have those available, and they are wonderful. If you have somebody that likes fish, I love Bottle Benders because they're very artistic. So they went ahead and turned some of the pine knots into like a little fish. See that they cut the mouth and then added the little glass eyes. So much fun. So we have those available here. Again, they make wonderful gifts, whether it's a Mother's Day or school is getting about to wrap up. So as a thank you gift to a teacher or a coworker, somebody that you work with or who has invested time and energy into your family's life. Coming on into the nursery, we had gotten some of these beautiful mixed containers from a fellow nursery nearby that does a lot of proven winners, and they had some cannas in it. And so we had these, and then folks were like, do you sell the cannas? And we're like, no, we don't have cannas. So many people were asking about the cannas that we went ahead and ordered cannas. So we have the proven winners cannas, the canna lilies. We have them in yellow, we have them in red, we have a coral, we have multiple different colors. So these make beautiful centerpieces in containers, and they will get very large and just continue to produce those blooms non-stop throughout the growing season. And they will, if you treat them correctly, they will actually be perennials for us here, even in 7B. So to make them a perennial is have them in the ground come this fall. The freeze comes, kills all the foliage. You just kind of cut that back and mulch them well, and they will come back year after year. Of course, we have what I call everybody calls the hummingbird plant. It is the vermillionaire, and we have had, even when the nursery is bustling and moving and we have tons of customers in here, our hummers are coming from all different directions and feeding. So if you're here and I'm talking with you and I'm working, and all of a sudden I stop and I stare and I go, there's a hummingbird. They're all over the plant. It's so much fun. Now, speaking of fun, this, my friends, is a fun plant. I so wish that we could have smell-o-vision right now, because when Jerry and I went to 4-Star Display Gardens in Carlton, Michigan last year, we found this plant. It is not new to Proven Winners, but it is new to us. This is part of their Proven Accents line. This is their Cerveza in Lime, and it is a foliage plant. But what is so fun, it is that its leaves are kind of thick. I was combining words there. Thick and fuzzy, and when you rub them, it smells just like a lime. It has that delicious lime smell. It is a wonderful, they were using, I believe it's ground covers. It gets 14 to 18 inches tall, and it will spread. Beautiful accent, kind of in the sedum family, so it is drought tolerant. So that is a great one. We have Scaevola. Look at, this is Cerdiva Sky Blue. Look at that gorgeous color. Scaevolas are wonderful because they have these fan-like blossoms on them. Love the heat, love the humidity, drought tolerant, And obviously you can tell from its habit that it's going to be more of a wide than an upright. So this is great. You can do a hanging basket of just this. I've used it in containers as kind of the filler spiller. Really fun, but the heat and humidity and the drought tolerance on these are wonderful. That's why it's kind of taken up until this point for them to really kind of show their stuff, because they do love it hot and humid. So a really great plant. Of course, we have the trailing salvia here. Let's see, there is one that has a bloom. Let's see if I can figure out who it belongs to. There we go. This is the Bodacious Hummingbird Falls. It's one of the first trailing salvias. Again, fantastic in a container or a hanging basket or the front of your border. So it has that trailing weeping effect, and the hummingbirds find these salvia blossoms irresistible. So if you're looking for a fun new salvia to put in a hanging basket or a container, this might be one for you. It's a really fun one. And then of course, the pentas, the salvias, all of these are going to be your Credible sunflowers, whether it is the solid yellow or the new bicolor, the Saturn. All of those are massive pollinator attractors, and butterflies, pollinators, hummingbirds, they love them all. So you can have a beautiful garden that is not only appealing to you, but also appealing to the fun little critters that we love to have in our gardens. So much fun. This is the Sunstar Pink. This is the one that I planted in near the patio. So there's pink, there is rose, which is a hot pink. Then we have, so this is the hot pink, which is rose. Then we have red, and then we have lavender. So there's lots of fun colors that you can choose from. Speaking of fun colors, I want to show you the aqua pot. Remember a couple of weeks ago when I was out in the pines and I put together an aqua pot to show you how much fun it is? Well, here we go. This is going to be an update here. You can see that it is really filling in very, very, very nicely. So we have, let's see if I can remember what we have. I believe this was maybe the Blue Moon Punch Super Bells. Then we have the Plum Dandy, which is another accent plant. Super Bells Yellow. We have the Mini Vista Hot Pink. Can you tell how much this Mini Vista Hot Pink? Man, I tell you, it's a Vista, even though she's mini. And then we have some of the Artemisia. This was Silver Falls. No, yeah, I don't know. It was the Silver Bullet. I know, Silver Bullet. I was trying to combine that. And then, of course, the Newly Noir. Now, looking at this, I could easily come in here and I could probably trim back my petunia, my Mini Vista Pink, to give a little bit more room so that my Newly Noir can fill in and be very happy. In fact, one of the comments on that video, somebody said, Jenny, is that coleus not going to overtake everything else? Yeah, no. We're good for sure. So here's some more of the cannas. These are like this is the coral canna, so we have those available. If you just literally want to grab and go, we do have pre-made containers for Mother's Day, whether she wants to be a red, pink, fuchsia, or if it's more of the pastel colors with the bubble gum and the Superbena and the, is that silverberry? I don't know if that's silverberry or not. I'm not sure. It looks like silverberry, but it's also doesn't look like silverberry. Anyway, purple fountain grass, but see all of the beautiful hanging baskets. Always one of our most popular colors is the Picasso in purple, because of that gorgeous bloom color with that lime green chartreuse edging on it. You pop this in one of those aqua pots and man, it is going to be stunning. You're going to win some major brownie points with the lady in your life if you do that. The dahlias are doing quite nicely. They are coming along. We did have some questions that about why they were in the black pot. This is the Proven Selections. So just to give you an idea, Proven Selections, which is more of like regional plants. So they haven't quite made it up to the Proven Winners standard yet. These are Proven Selections, but this one is the Grande Merita. So there's your tag. I know how much y'all do enjoy a good tag. So there's the tag. Trying to get it. If you've never made videos. Oh, never mind. Sorry, Jerry was playing tricks. Here we go. But look at that beautiful bloom. Isn't that gorgeous? And they are just starting to show some color. I did some dahlias last year in my deck boxes, and they were really, really nice. But different ones will start to bloom at different times. Like for example, this is yellow. You can tell that yellow is more behind the Merita. It just happens. And then tequila. This is tequila, which is a beautiful orange. It also is a little bit behind. It does have the buds on it, but is a little behind. And then there is Cancun. Cancun, oh my goodness. Can't wait for that one to show up. That purple with those little creamy tips on it, it is going to be gorgeous. Dahlias, of course, will do great in containers and window boxes and the landscape, all sorts of different growing conditions. They do well. So come on over. I want to take you over to, let's see. Oh yes, here we go. I knew I was trying to figure out where they were. Some really fun, new for us, not new at all. This is the Fruit Punch series of Dianthus. This is classic coral. And classic coral, I mean, if these do not look like little mini carnations, that Fruit Punch series will have those blossoms on it, but just a beautiful shade of that peachy coral pink. Fantastic. It is a perennial. They'll only get 8 to 10 inches tall, hardy in zones 4 to 9, and they do like the full to part sun. So really beautiful blooms on them. Fantastic silvery blue foliage. These are wonderful. We have, of course, more Vermillionaire out here, and then give you an update on, first of all, update on the wheelbarrow. So I want to give you that. She's coming along quite nicely and is filling in really well. Again, I planted this just a couple of weeks ago. We used that same, I'm pretty sure this is the Blue Moon Punch, Super Bell's Blue Moon Punch. We have that. We have the Goldilocks Rocks Bidens that are filling in really nicely, exactly what I wanted them to do. The Artist Blue Ageratum, nice crystal blue color on those. The Osteo, this is the Bright Lights Double Moon Glow Osteospermum. African daisy, people will also call them. So those are doing nicely. And then the salvias. Remember how tiny the salvias were when I planted them? This is going to be the deep purple improved that will be available next year. Sometimes the rockin' deep purple would be a little too wild and crazy. They've tried to contain it so it's a little bit more behaved in its habit, doing really well, filling in nicely, just like I knew that they would, and get nice and full. Now, I'm gonna go ahead, because you know me, I show you real life scenarios, right? We've talked about this before, and sometimes I catch a little grief from you sweet people because of how we pull out our pansies and violas a little early, and you wonder why I do that. This is why. Pansies and violas hate the heat. And these plants have been in here since September, October. Now, obviously, yes, they need some water, but no matter how much we water them right now, they're not going to be able to handle it because they are cool weather plants. Tomorrow's supposed to be 86, and we've had temperatures up in the upper 80s here lately. They're done. They've said, you know what? We've lived a good life. My kale, it bolted, right? So this is what happens if you don't trim back your kale. So if you come to the nursery this weekend, this will all be gone, and hopefully it will be replanted with some fresh stuff. So this is just what pansies and violas do here in the South, beginning, you know, mid to late April. So to give you an idea on that. Coming on over, we have got tons of beautiful hostas and ferns available. Lots of really fun things. We of course have the Godzilla, the painted fern. This is a great cross between a lady fern with the height and then a painted fern to give you that beautiful color. So it will get some height on it, but then it has that silvery foliage that we love about those Japanese painted ferns. Extremely cold hardy. These are like zones 3 to 8. Definitely for us, it is a shade plant. If it gets some sun, it would be just like early morning sun, and that is it. But hostas galore, my gosh, we have got them. And so speaking of hostas, I want to give you an update. This is kind of like an garden tour, nursery tour update on how things are doing here at the nursery. So if you remember, I was in this bed and planted the components that came out of the refrigerator into the ground. And it has come along quite nicely, doing really well. This is, I had the astilbe that was in the refrigerator. It's getting ready to bloom. This is burgundy red astilbe. So nice dark leafy foliage. I've got a bud coming up right here. I also had in that refrigerator this pictum Japanese painted fern. So it is doing really nicely, getting nice and full. I had also in the refrigerator the lady in red. Lady in red is a lady fern, will get nice and tall, and it's called lady in red because the stems have kind of a reddish hue to them. So as they're coming out, they have a reddish hue. We have not had rain here in, oh my gosh, 2 or 3 weeks, and this is not on irrigation. So you can look at some of the plants, and they are a bit on the struggle bus. I've tried to get them some water, but yeah, we need some rain desperately. This is Aunt Vonnie's fern that I told you about. I have no clue what it actually is, but my Aunt Vonnie gave these to my mama 30, 40 years ago. And so these are some sprigs off of hers. In the container, I took out, this is Proven Winners Woo La La hosta. Look at that. Is that not just an absolutely gorgeous hosta? Huge leaves. Look how big those leaves are. Nice dark center. Nice, pretty variegation on the edge of it. This sucker is huge and doing well, as are the gold heart, bleeding hearts back here. So they are doing really well. And I had planted this in case those bleeding hearts do kind of fizzle out once the heat of the summer hits. You can see that the other of Aunt Vonnie's fern will kind of hide that. So that's doing really well. And then of course, drinking gourd. Drinking gourd is coming along quite nicely. So right now, drinking gourd is the only plant in this refrigerator. A friend of mine gave me this refrigerator. They were getting rid of it. I turned it into a planter. Drinking gourd is in here. It's called drinking gourd because it has those beautiful upturned leaves. It'll fill with water. We'll have tree frogs hanging out in here once they're filled with water. It's really fun. So we had the drinking gourd, and then this was like the vegetable crisper drawer. And so I planted a Newly Noir in there, and then the Rocapuco purple double impatient. So this will all fill in, give me a little bit of height, a little bit of color contrast, and will do quite nicely. Let's mosey over here. I do have one other planter that I want to show you, along with some couple of fun other plants. But this is, you know how I am all about recycling different things and turning them into a container. Sweet customers of ours a couple of years ago gave me this 3-tiered stand, and it was, I mean, it was old, it was rusty, it was kind of not a very pretty white. So I got some spray paint this week, spray painted it, filled it with a cocoa liner on each level, and I planted it. So at the top we have the Dolce Silver Gumdrop Euchera. All these are from Proven Winners because I know this will fill in, give me a little bit of height here, and probably out of all of them, it needs the least amount of water. Next, we're going to move on down to the Shadowland Autumn Frost hosta. This hosta will be relatively a small hosta, so if you're putting it in your landscape, it would go towards the front of your landscape. Beautiful colors on it. And then down at all the way down here to the bottom, we have Proven Winners Crested Surf Japanese Painted Fern. And it's called Crested Surf because on the tips it has little fringes on it. And out of all of them, this painted fern probably will want the most water. So as I water this, of course, you have the euchera, it drains to the hosta, and then that drains down to the Japanese painted fern. So I was able to kind of plant it according also to their water needs. So that way it's okay that the painted fern gets the most amount of water. Really fun hosta over here. This is called praying hands. And praying hands, this is what it looks like. It is very upright. It is very narrow. The hands are obviously, you know, upturned like they are praying, and nice dark green foliage on them. And as like with other hostas, extremely cold tolerant. They are zones 3 to 9, and they do prefer the shade in our conditions. So the warmer the climate, the more shade they need. The cooler the climate, the more sun they can take. So we have those available. Let's see, what else, Jer? Ooh, rhododendrons. Come on over here. Because we're coming into rhododendron season. I have a couple that are blooming, and we have some here at the nursery available. People were taking these things out this weekend, and they were in bloom, and they were gorgeous. So this one is the Catabanese album, which is a very, very soft pink, technically a white. So we have those. We had one that went out that was, I want to say, which color was that? But it was this deep purple. We have rose and pink. It is just about to start opening up right here. So rhododendrons are great evergreen shrubs that do prefer filtered sunlight, at least where we live. In our warm climates, they do not handle the high heat really well in the full sun. If we were in the mountains in a cooler climate, they can handle more sun. But great evergreen, beautiful spring flowers, big, huge balls of spring flowers. Just a fantastic staple piece in your shade garden, because it gives you that year-round presence of gorgeous structure and shape. And then of course those spring blooms are amazing. Let's see, was there something else? I was trying to think. We're sitting here, there's so many different things to talk about. But we still have tons of hostas. Like I said, we've got the bleeding hearts, all sorts of things. As the season progresses and changes, we have plants coming in that are in bloom and in season. If you are not local and cannot come to Creekside Nursery, we really encourage you to reach out to your local garden center. I know as we progress through the coming weeks, some of you are just now getting into your spring season, and the snow is beginning to thaw and to melt. So just get out there, enjoy those moments where you're able to get in your garden, have fun. That is the point of this whole thing, is to enjoy it and just to get outside and get some fresh air and make your space look beautiful. I will say also that the food truck is coming back May the 14th. That's a Saturday. So folks that are going to be visiting us on Saturday, May 14th, Bolton's will be back with their gourmet burgers and french fries and onion rings. So we encourage you to bring a blanket, bring some lawn chairs, come shop for flowers and fries and enjoy some time with us. We look forward to seeing you. As always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.